Hi guys, my name is Pallav and I'm here to represent IP1. IP1, we have done a lot of work and our group mainly consists of me, Ari, Push and Aaron. So I would like to start with a quote which inspired us throughout our journey during this course. The quote says, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the people who do. So this quote has been from Steve Jobs. And the beauty of this quote lies in the kind of inspiration that it gives you for being crazy. Because whenever you follow something which is different, you're termed as crazy and you're labeled as crazy. And it's really hard to stay inspired being a crazy person. So let's start with our journey in this entrepreneurship course. So first of all, this journey has been a fascinating one. And we have learned so many things about ourselves, about the course, and about being an entrepreneur. So this course is basically divided into 5 parts that we see. First of all is the pre-context landscape report. This is actually the very introduction of the course, and you're required to read articles and get immersed into your project. So the second part is the context landscape report. In this, we have to define what market we're going to look. We have to judge our competitors. We have to learn from them and etc. The third one is solution landscape. Now this one is the hardest one because this one actually gives you the crux of the course, and you have to define a problem statement and you have to define your market, you have to define your customer. So this is much more deeper than anything else. The final is the presentation and the final report. Presentation was a very dynamic way of expressing yourself and what you have learned in this course. And the final report, we're just doing it now. So let's come to the process that we applied and how it changed us throughout our journey. So let me tell you, first of all, we faced a lot of challenges. There was not a single challenge which was easy. Everyone was challenging. That's why it is called challenge, I would say. But the most 3 challenges which we feel were the changing and the turning points in our journey throughout were these 3. So I'm going to talk about each one of them one by one. So we got enrolled in this course and we thought, okay, this is another business course. What we do, we make teams, we make groups, we divide our work, we do our work, we collaborate our work, and then we submit a final report and get an A. But that was a little bit different in this course. What we found out that the team that were formed were not like normal teams. They were created for something which was much more meaningful than getting an A. So we started with the wrong mindset, I would say, but soon we were able to correct ourselves because of the feedback from professor. So this was our first challenge, to get aside from the teachings that society has given us. So we had to first of all unlearn what we already knew. And this is not an easy task because we have been made so much efficient in learning what society teaches us that it's really hard to unlearn and to get the essence of this course. So it took us a lot of time to unlearn whatever we have learned from the society, but let me tell you, it is much more beneficial than any other thing. The next challenge which we face is the challenge of being efficient. As from very childhood, we have been taught that time and tide waits for none, and the clock is ticking. So all these things actually make a lot of pressure on us. So whenever there's a deadline for the report, what we used to do for the first report is that we divided our work. We said, okay, since the clock is ticking and we have to do it by tomorrow like this, so we divided our work and just read some articles, collaborated things, and just put it down, made some good figures, and that's it. But that is where we got it wrong. So initially it was really hard to change the tendency of being efficient, but sooner and later we learned that efficiency has its own cost, and the cost is really high. So as we discussed more with the classmates and with professor, we learned how to be innovative. And being efficient is not at all being innovative, because when we were in the crisis situation and the first report, what we thought is that, okay, we have to do it, we have to think of some ideas. That's the only way that we can do this project, but that's a wrong approach. Because this course has not been about being efficient, it has been more about being intuitive and being able to present yourself to make your inner voice heard. So this is like the way we proceeded. The next challenge that we had was the final challenge, and this would create a maximum impact on our way of thinking. The final challenge, as I would say, is like defining the problem statement, because it's really hard to think of the problems, and it's even harder to define it in a very particular and precise manner. So what we did for the second last report, the solution landscape, is that initially we came up with a lot of problems. We talked to a lot of people, we interviewed a lot of people, and we looked for the cues, for the small subconscious signals that could tell us what their pain points were. But as we talked to so many people and we brainstormed, we came with 23 problems. But the problem was that none of the problems were problems, they were pain points. And we didn't develop on any of the problem because we didn't have that much time. So this is where we got it wrong. And then after getting a very hard batch from the professor, but that was really effective, he gave us an appointment to meet and to tell us what this course is all about. And then this is where the main transformation occurred, because we learned so many things from that 1 hour talk with him that would change the course of our direction, and that is where the maximum learning took place. So what we learned during that period was that you have to choose a customer first of all. You have to define a very precise customer aura. You have to know everything about the customer, and then you see the pain points of that customer, and then develop that into a problem statement. But we did it in a wrong way. But soon we realized that this is not that we didn't waste our time, and we still had time to correct our mistakes. So we again sat down and we defined a customer aura, and we figured out the main problem, and we made a problem statement and a final solution also. So that has been really helpful. You have to define a customer first, then you can define a problem. And now we have developed on all this stuff, so we are already on the part of the final report and the presentation. So during the presentation was a very dynamic learning experience, because you have to say what your project is all about in your mind. It is not about being slides or about anything else. It is about what you believe in and what you have made actually and what you have learned actually. So this is our final thing that we came up with, was a light roll. It is it's like a technology which controls lighting so that you do not feel jet lag the next time you leave your house. So the 3 main takeaways that we as a team realized from this course are as follows. The first is, your team is your family, and believe in that. Because this team is not going to be like any other team. If you really want to get a good grade, or not even grades, if you want to learn this course, then you should be eating with your teammates. You should be discussing really nonsense stuff, because that is where the true intuition lies, and that is where you understand each other at a very much deeper level. So this is my very first advice, that the team is your family. The second one is you have to be fearless, because what we have been taught throughout our journey in the previous courses is that you have to ask good questions to get good marks, or you have to be intelligent, but that is not the true entrepreneurship spirit. The true entrepreneur spirit is, you have to be foolish, you have to be fearless, you have to ask silly questions, and you have to believe in them. That is the main crux of entrepreneurship. So never be afraid to ask any question in the class, and I can assure you that it will always be entertained in the class. And the next learning which I would like to share with you is you have to trust and faith. Those are the only things that will keep you alive in this course, because each and every moment you will see that you are failing, but you have to believe in yourself. Until and unless you don't believe in yourself, you cannot succeed in this course, because you will always be surrounded by failures, but you have to believe in the ray of hope, and let me tell you, that will actually come to you. So to represent it metaphorically, I would say we started with here, this is our group, and we had mountains first. So we thought those were hard, but anyways, we survived through them and we reached here. But as we got here, we found there was a sea of water with a lot of sharks, but we somehow passed that also. The last challenge was a volcano. It was really a volcano. So we have to find some creative ways to pass it, and we actually did it. So at the end of this learning process, we have learned so many things that most of the things cannot be even expressed, but They are non-tangible assets that will come into play in everyday life. And sooner and later, you will realize that how much it has helped us throughout the course. So towards the end, I would like to say that thank you so much for teaching us so well. And all of us really enjoyed and loved your classes. Thank you so much.